Hello there, thanks a lot for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard, and this is simply what I'm holding today, the earliest known Johnny Cash concert poster. Wow, how do you like that? That's amazing. This is from '56. If you know of one from 1955, I would certainly like to hear about it. March 13th, as you can see at the top there, 1956, it never says the year on these things, and still the winter, if you will, of 1955-56. And the location was Valdosta, Georgia, and as you can see, in the very quaint and cute Livestock Auditorium. And that blue banner, as you can see, does say, WSM Grand Ole Opry presents, in person, a big show. And with 5 artists on the poster. And then down there at the bottom, as you can see, bottom billed, but at least he has extra added attraction above his name. There it is, the unusually named Johnny Cash Trio. Interesting. Now, as of this point, Johnny had released a total of only 2 singles on Sun Records, meaning, of course, just 4 songs, and he was still 3 weeks away from going into the studio and recording his legendary 3rd single, which would break open everything for him, and that is, of course, I Walk the Line. So, but that was 3 weeks hence after the show, and so he probably played it, though, however, for this crowd, I would certainly guess. Now, did I say there were 5 musicians on this poster? That's a little odd. Let's take a closer look. I think closer examination will show only 3 of them. First of all, if you know your country music, headliner Ferlin Husky there, he would sometimes record under the nom de plume, shall we, of Simon Crumb, right there, second billed on the poster. In fact, the previous year, '55, he had had a top 5 country hit as Simon Crumb. So that folds down into one artist. Oh boy, and then you have Cowboy Copas, and right under him, Kathy Copas. It's not much of a head scratcher to figure that one out. Cowboy was a very established country star, but hadn't had a hit in years. However, he took his daughter along on the road, starting when she was like 14, and at this point, Kathy Copas was about 20 years old and had just given birth to her first child, so was about to retire from the road. But obviously, Cowboy and Kathy sang together. They were a family act, right? So all of a sudden, the Johnny Cash Trio, consisting, of course, of legendary guitarist Luther Perkins and bassist Marshall Grant, were actually 3rd billed, not 5th billed, on this little tour. And again, the Johnny Cash Trio is so unusual, you know, you would really think it would say Johnny Cash and the Tennessee Two, because that's exactly what the record label said for his first 2 Sun singles leading up to this, but for some reason it's called the Trio. Now, in regards to those 2 Sun singles that had come out, first you've got the one from late 1955, Cry, 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 and that peaked at number 14 on the country music singles chart in Billboard magazine. And then his second single was much bigger. It was a 2-sided hit, in fact, So Doggone Lonesome, backed with the legendary Folsom Prison Blues, and both peaked at number 4 on Billboard's country chart. So, you know, you might say, well, that's why he's the extra added attraction, right? But the thing is, I mean, when this poster was printed, certainly the second single had not hit the charts yet, much less become a hit. You know, if you really think about it, the tour was probably conceived in December or maybe January of '56, and you know, the posters printed in January or February of '56, and so Lonesome and Folsom, you know, had not reached their number 4 pinnacle, so this was just going on the, practically on the fumes of a number 14 hit, as mentioned with his very first single. But it also gives you the concept and the idea that this is a concert poster that was probably printed before Johnny Cash ever stepped foot into the country western top 10 charts. And that's just so mind-blowingly early. It just really gives me chills and just makes this, you know, just a really great fun killer collector's item, just wonderful. And guess what? Since recording that first segment, I've actually gained access to 2 more of these posters from later in the very same week. So that one still remains the earliest known Johnny Cash concert poster, but now just by a couple of days. But that's okay. And these 2 additional ones do have slight differences, which are fun. So that one was on Tuesday, March 13th, and this one is on Thursday, March 15th, in Savannah, Georgia, at the City Auditorium. Now, an additional act has been added to the bill, bluegrass musician Mac Wiseman. And now both Mac and Johnny are extra added attractions. You know, but as a result, look how small Johnny's name has become. Oh man, it's almost comical. So this was 48 hours after the previous poster. Let's go ahead just 24 hours and the very next night, over 300 miles away, and by far the biggest city of these three posters. You've got Friday, March 16th in Raleigh, North Carolina. And still two more performers have been added, and for the first time of these three, ticket prices are there for us to see, so that's fun. Taking this from the top, Raleigh Memorial Auditorium, Friday, March 16th. Doors open at 7, show 8:15 p.m. General admission, $1. Wow, well that's, if you figure it out, that's 12.5 cents per musician listed on the poster. Just crazy. And then it adds children under 12, 50 cents, or 4 bits as they used to say, and reserved seats, $1.50. Then you've got the same 4 top acts, and the bottom 2, they remain the same, including our man in black. But then you've got this one line, which is new and different and added right there: Don Helms, Dale Potter, and others. Well, Don Helms was no less than an ex-drifting cowboy. He was Hank Williams Sr.'s, steel guitar player. And Dale Potter was a fiddle player extraordinaire. But with 8 names now, this time the typesetter just decided to go ahead and make them all the same size type font. So, interestingly, even with 8 musicians, Johnny, his name actually appears in bigger print, so that's kind of interesting. Now, I mentioned Hatch. They did print all 3 of these posters, these 14 by 22 inch original cardboard window cards, and these were found indeed in the files of Hatch Showprint in Nashville, Tennessee, many, many years ago. And being simple like this and without photographs, they could be very easily bootlegged, but these are absolutely genuine articles. Well, of course, just like everything I video blog. And they even still retain their creases. See that on the back? They were quarter folded down to fit into Hatch's file cabinets, and they all have that quarter fold. And for some reason, interestingly, at the bottom there, Hatch just never chose to give themselves, I shouldn't say never, almost never gave themselves a printer's credit at the bottom like so many other poster printing companies did. Boy, I'll tell you, Johnny sure went on to bigger things, right? Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Gospel Music Hall of Fame, and of course, the Country Music Hall of Fame. But if you were a child at the time of this show, you could see him for just 6 cents. Oh boy, great stuff. The earlier the better as far as I'm concerned, and this is as early as it gets for the Johnny Cash Trio. Thanks a lot for dropping by today, and we'll see you again for something soon. Bye-bye.